When Rust first launched over a decade ago, it was a scrappy survival experiment. Dropping players naked onto a hostile island, armed with nothing but a rock and a torch, the game quickly built a reputation for being one of the most unforgiving and chaotic experiences in gaming. In 2025, that reputation still holds true, but what's remarkable is how Rust has not only survived but thrived. Where many multiplayer survival titles have faded into obscurity, Rust remains one of the most played, most streamed, and most talked about games in the genre. The question is, what makes this game still worth playing after so many years, and how has it evolved into the experience it is today? In 2025, Rust is experiencing some of its strongest years yet. On any given day, tens of thousands of players are online, with live concurrent counts usually sitting around the 60 to 70,000 mark. Daily peaks regularly climb past 120,000 players, and earlier this year the game even hit an all-time record of more than 250,000 concurrent survivors online at once. That's remarkable longevity for a title more than a decade old, and it speaks to both the dedication of its community and the steady stream of updates that keep the world fresh. Beyond these moment-to-moment figures, the larger picture is even more impressive. Over 20 million people have registered to play Rust, and the average concurrent population often pushes into six figures. What's striking is not just that the game still has a healthy community, but that it has been steadily growing. From the closing months of 2024 into the start of 2025, the player base surged to new highs, and the momentum hasn't really slowed. That growth is tied closely to ongoing support, regular wipes that reset the playing field, and the powerful influence of streamers and content creators who continue to generate wild, unpredictable stories that draw newcomers in. The most immediate difference you notice in 2025 is visual. Rust has grown into one of the most striking survival sandboxes out there. Gone are the blocky, almost primitive landscapes of its early days. Now the game offers breathtaking sunsets across snowy peaks, rain cascading down thick forests, and deserts that shimmer with heat. Lighting and environmental effects bring a new depth to the world. Storms roll in with bone-chilling intensity, while fog cloaks valleys in a way that feels almost cinematic. These aren't just aesthetic touches. Dynamic weather now matters. Cold snaps can drain your health if you're unprepared, storms can mask the sound of approaching enemies, and intense heat demands careful management of water and stamina. Combined with procedurally generated maps, every server feels new, forcing players to adapt constantly rather than memorize patterns. Exploration has never been more tense or more rewarding. Base building has seen perhaps the most dramatic evolution. What started as little more than slapping together wooden walls has become a complex, almost architectural system. Foundations, reinforcement, honeycombing defenses, electricity for traps and lights, even intricate interior design. It's all possible now. For creative players, building a base isn't just survival, it's an art form. Yet this depth comes with unforgiving consequences. Fail to maintain your tool cupboard, neglect resource upkeep, or misplace a single wall, and your base can collapse, literally or metaphorically, overnight. Raids are still the heart of Rust, and no matter how strong you think your fortress is, it's never invincible. There's a bittersweet quality to this system. Building feels meaningful because destruction is inevitable. Still, for some, the constant threat of losing hours or days of progress remains the game's biggest drawback. In the early years, animals were an afterthought. Today, they're a constant presence and often a lethal one. Bears patrol riverbanks like territorial bosses, wolves stalk players through forests, and even bees now provide another absurd layer of danger. The world feels hostile not just because of other players, but because the ecosystem itself doesn't want you alive. This addition changes the rhythm of survival. Even on lower population servers where human encounters might be rare, the environment keeps you on edge. It also gives solo players more to do. Fighting off wildlife, hunting for food, or crafting armor from animal parts adds progression beyond just PvP. Still, the balancing is controversial. Many complain that wildlife feels disproportionately punishing compared to human threats, and if there's one thing that hasn't lost its edge, it's combat. Player versus player in Rust remains as brutal and exhilarating as ever. Gunfights are high-stakes duels where every bullet counts, every death hurts, and every weapon lost can represent hours of grinding. Ambushing another player and stealing their loot still delivers an adrenaline rush few games can match. Likewise, defending your base from a raid in the dead of night can feel like the climax of a war movie. That intensity, however, cuts both ways. For new players especially, PvP can feel less like a challenge and more like a wall. Facing veterans armed with assault rifles while you clutch a makeshift bow is demoralizing, and the game still does little to protect beginners from being steamrolled. This unforgiving imbalance is a feature, not a bug, but it remains one of the most divisive aspects of Rust. What truly makes Rust special, even now, is its social unpredictability. Player interactions remain the beating heart of the game. Every encounter can spiral into something unforgettable, a fragile alliance that lasts days, a betrayal that shatters hours of trust, or a random act of kindness from a stranger who decides to pick you up instead of finish you off. The community has also diversified through mods and custom servers. Don't want the relentless brutality of vanilla PvP? Join a PvE server where players build sprawling cities instead of raiding each other. Want something even harsher? Hardcore modded servers strip away conveniences and push survival into masochistic territory. This flexibility has given Rust new life. It isn't just one game anymore, it's a spectrum of survival experiences shaped by its community. So why, after more than a decade, should anyone still pick up Rust? The answer lies in how much it has grown while staying true to its roots. The visuals are gorgeous, the mechanics are deeper, and the systems, whether weather, wildlife, or base building, create a richer survival sandbox than ever before. Updates still arrive consistently, refreshing gameplay and ensuring the community never fully stagnates. Mods expand the possibilities endlessly, letting you tailor the brutality or creativity to your tastes. Most importantly, Rust remains unmatched at generating stories. Few games can deliver the same mix of fear, frustration, and triumph. Your first successful raid, your first real base, or even a single tense conversation with a stranger can become a memory you'll never forget. The harshness of the game makes its victories feel profound. And yet Rust is far from perfect. Its infamous steep learning curve still drives away many new players. Hours of grinding can still vanish in minutes after a raid. The PvP balance remains brutal, with veterans dominating newcomers. Wildlife, while more engaging, can feel excessive, and bugs still creep in despite years of updates. And the community, while vibrant, is notoriously toxic at times. For players seeking a fair, balanced, or relaxed survival game, Rust will always feel punishing. The trend suggests that Rust is not simply maintaining a loyal audience, but actively expanding it. Peaks have been climbing higher with each major update, and the average player count remains consistently strong throughout the year, not just during seasonal events. While it's difficult to predict the exact numbers for the future, all signs point toward continued stability, if not further growth. The combination of a massive established player base, an ever-changing game world, and a vibrant modding community ensures that Rust continues to attract both veterans and curious newcomers. Rust in 2025 is not a softer or friendlier game. It's a harsher, sharper version of what it has always been. But that's exactly what makes it endure. It's still chaotic, still punishing, still hilarious in its absurd unpredictability. It's a game where progress is fleeting, but stories last forever. For players ready to embrace its brutality, there's still nothing else like it. For those who want a survival game that respects their time, Rust may remain more frustrating than fun. More than 10 years later, Rust has changed in countless ways, but its core remains the same. A cruel, beautiful experiment in survival that keeps writing new stories. One raid, one betrayal, and one miraculous victory at a time.